Hey there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to interview Uriel. So, Uriel, welcome, dude.
Hello, I'm Uriel. My type is INTP Ti-Ne consume, play, sleep, blast, number one, double feminine.
All right, dude, you got it. Feminine sensory, and you got it.
I got it. Hell yeah.
There's your flex. Um, can you please tell us what did you think after you got your typing results back?
Yes, I was actually aiming to be like the first guy to like get everything right. Or like I don't know if I would have been the first. Maybe there's like someone prior to me, but I wanted like to like I guess flex that I'm like, oh yeah, I got it. And I got it right besides the social type. I thought I was a number four,
Gotcha.
which is funny to me now. But yes, I was very convinced I'm a good guy. I'm a four. But turns out now I'm an evil number one.
Yeah, you are. You're the evil number one IP.
Yes.
You know what? I've been interviewing for a long time, and I think I've only interviewed like maybe like two or three people that got their type right, but nobody has gotten the full type, including the social type. So you're one of the people that got it the closest.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's start by talking about your animals. Your first animal is actually the most interesting one because it's double masculine, anti-consume, and double activated. So your first animal is extra, extra abusive. Can you share a little bit of how you personally experienced that double masculine, double activated anti-consume of yours?
It's like my greatest friend, and it has like helped me like through like the hardest times. But it also is like a roadblock to many things. Like every problem I could like solve with my consume. It's very aggressive. I know what I like what information I need, and I'm like looking for that, and it's very efficient. And I don't know. I think it's a great superpower. But now in my life, I want to like create more things, and I see like the consumers is like taking away from like more of my blast and things I should be doing. And I get like sidetracked with like very interesting things that don't align with like the direction I want to go.
Oh, I see. So you want to produce, but you can't because you're consuming instead.
Yes, 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 exactly.
Gotcha. Um, and part of anti-consume is problem solving. Can you share a little bit about like using consume to seek solutions to a problem that you're trying to solve?
Yes. Well, now this is like the blast last thing of me. Now I have like to like deliver. I was like like I wanted to be like so smooth in this interview. Wait. Um. Yes. Problem solving. I'm very good, very good at it. That, that's all I can think about it. But I don't know, like content about like problem solving also like interests me a lot, and I think I am very good at problem solving, and I solve a lot of problems in my family, and um yes, like also like physics interests me a lot, and um yeah, fixing problems. Oh my God, I'm so bad at being an interviewee, I guess.
No, it's so
I'm
you're 100% normal. You're a normal blast last person. It's okay. There's nothing. Uh,
okay.
yeah, and people when they're watching this, they're trying to see what someone of your type is like. So they're seeing, oh, you're having trouble with blast. That's the blast last issue. So it's okay. You know, um, everyone understands. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll ask you a follow-up question because you can use play instead to talk. So if blast is being a problem, you can use play. And that's the good thing about having play saviors. You can use that instead. So the reason why I asked you this question about using anti-consume to research when you have a problem and to research to find a solution is because there's people in your quadra that are anti-consume last, and they have a problem, but they don't know how to solve it. And for you, it might be as simple as like, well, that's a no-brainer. You do research, you find out. But then, the consume last version of you, they don't want to research. They don't want to research. And as a
Mm,
result, they don't find a solution to the problem because people in your quadra, that's how you find solutions to problem. It's your consume is NT, right? So, but for you, you probably do it all the time. For you, it's like, yeah, that's like a obvious thing. But honestly, dude, for a lot of people, it's not obvious.
yeah. No, I've seen myself like, yeah, I kind of like consume to like solve problems, and I solve them, but it takes sometimes. And I notice like my father, he does not consume that much. He's like more like go, TTG, train to go. And like he solves problems much faster because he encounters the real problem, I guess, like faster. And then now he like tries different things and solves them on a practical level. Well, I like still have to like consume. And I guess I'm very good at discerning like the good information. But then at the end of the day, like I still have to like put it into practice. And sometimes it doesn't align. And then I'm back to like square one of like the process of like trying things, counting the real problem, trying different things, and then like solving it like practically. But sometimes consume gives like very good starting point. That's how I feel it is. It's like you advance in the starting point, but the process is like the same.
Right. No, that makes total sense. Being consumed being a starting point. I guess the problem is the lack of blast because if you don't blast, you don't get the feedback from reality if what you're simulating with your TI is actually true or not, right? Because you don't get that feedback. So, a lot of people that have blast or high TE, they do that quite a bit. So that's kind of like the advantage. Although I do think people with TI still have um, an advantage, especially if when, let's say, you're working on a project that is more expensive, because the problem with TE is it is very resource wasteful, because it's time wasteful and resource wasteful because it's trial and error to find a solution essentially. But
Mm-hmm.
so I think if you have something that requires a solution right now, TE is much better. But if you need something long-term solution and less wasteful in terms of resources and time, I think TI is better. So what are your thoughts on that idea?
Yeah. Well, I see like T, like I'm very jealous of people that have like T or like SE, like that's like they can solve problems also like almost like instinctually, like they see it arise and they like already have like a solution. They have like taken in account like a lot of things and already came up with like a solution or didn't even came up. Like I don't know, like I have the feeling like they just move through the problem, but I have to like think about it. And I'm like, oh, what is this? And then I have to try it. And most of my like very well thought of ideas like first don't work out, and then I have to like to trim the fat and see what really works. And I don't know, I feel like I'm very slow when in comparison to like my dad. I am very convinced that he's TFI or yeah, but I think in the long run, as you said, like when once I like set up like processes and I have like I know what works and stuff like I've seen like I can gain advantage back. But I don't know. I feel sometimes my TI and problem solving is very slow.
I think the one of the problems with TI that I've encountered, because I have a lot of friends that is TI lead, like INTPs and ISTPs. One of my friends, he actually met David Chan too when David Chan had a meetup back in the US. So when me and my friends get together to play video games, he's very weird about it. Instead of like, hey, let's sit down and start playing the games, he wants to make sure that everything TI works to his specification. So he'll bring his own tech, his own gear. He'll start setting it up, and everyone is bored because we have to wait for this guy to set all this, his system together, right? And then by the time he finished it, no one FE cares. Okay. So it's like, oh, you put all this TI work for nothing because no one even appreciates you. because no one cares. We just wanted to play. Honestly, we would appreciate it more if he just played the game with us, any game, then we can FE connect instead of the freaking you do TI work and then we celebrate you. We don't need to celebrate you. We can just FE connect like straight to the point.
Nah, I relate to this. Yes, yes, I do the same. Like especially in video games. I don't I'm not big on like gear and stuff. Like I am like I don't like the sensory. I want like everything be based on like principles and things beside like the physical world. But yeah, when I like play a video game, it's like, oh, I need to get like this process, and like people are like playing, having fun. And I'm like trying to figure out the best process on how to like approach things. And yeah, yeah, people don't like that, and they just want me to like play the game, and I'm like focused, trying to figure out, trying to be the best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're number one. It makes sense. But I think with FE, instead of trying to be the best in terms of figuring things out, you can just also yell at people with the FE, because that's what a bunch of guys together do, right? They act like idiots and, just scream at each other when they're playing video games. So you can like, I think, you know what, honestly, dude, that's a good challenge for you. Instead of figuring out the game, you can figure out the FE during the game. Then that's something, something different, right?
Oh, that's so crazy because I don't even understand. I don't even understand what you're trying to tell me. Like understand the FE of the game and like the people yelling. Like I don't understand this.
No, I mean like when you're playing, let's say, with some friends. So instead of trying to
Mm.
figure out how the game works or how to beat your friends, you can use your TI to understand, oh, what's going on with this social interaction. So you're gonna use your TI to figure out the social interaction aspect of things as opposed to the game mechanics. Does that make sense? Or how you're gonna beat someone.
Oh, I feel like that's always on goal. Like I'm always thinking about like the interaction. I'm always analyzing the interaction because I think that's because I'm an MP, right? Like a lot of people fear. So I don't see myself like not doing that. Like I'm always analyzing, always looking, oh, what's the other person like feeling and how I am like and it takes away from like playing the game too and like just having fun. So yeah, I think what I'm trying to do now is like relax FE, I guess, or like just like vibe with the people.
Yeah. Well, you have NF plays as a savior state, so you can vibe with people. You can use your NF to vibe, right? So, um, and you have been in a savior state. So what has your experience been like when it's time to NF vibe, NF play with people instead of like, TI problem solve?
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice I was weird for this, but it seems like I always ask a lot of like deep questions. So for example, if like we go out or something, I I go up to people and ask them, like, you're blinking. This is like you just blinked. That's one time you blinked less in your life. What are your goals in life? And they're like, oh, and then either they make like a joke out of it or like they truly answer, and then it's like bonding. And I think a lot of like my vibe is deep talks. I don't know, like even if they're like not deep from the vibe perspective, like it's not like, oh, we're having like a very deep conversation. The topic, the topic I guess I enjoy the most while vibing is who are you as a person, who I am, and pinging each other off and seeing what directions we have as human beings and how you see things and who you are. I don't know. That's like how I see my play. And it's all funny.
Yeah, no, well, it makes sense. NF play, you're trying to gather the tribe's essence essentially, right? Like what's their goal, their purpose, their meaning, right? So and maybe you're comparing it with yours also because you have NF play in your because you're number one too. You will have a more tendency to compare yourself with other people.
Yes, yes.
So, dude, before we continue with the animal discussion, let's go to your social type because this seems to be the elephant in the room. So it sounds like you do have friends, but you're social type number one. So can you talk about being friends last and how you see that happening in your life? Or do you still see yourself having friends and you still spend time with friends and whatnot?
Yeah, that's the thing because like when the socials came out, I I saw it and I was like, oh, the one thing I'm sure is I'm not friends last, you know, because I have friends and I love them deeply and I care a lot for my friends and also my family. And I would not say that I don't know, like a lot of number ones have like this me first energy, like, oh, me first. And I was not feeling that. Like I'm very concerned about like the people around me and I want them to win. And I care a lot about like making win-win scenarios. And yeah, that was like one a hard thing to figure out. Why am I like a number one? Or why how is like friends last manifest in my life? And I've been like processing that. And yes, it's interesting because I don't know, like I don't feel like a classical number one. I can see my flex, I can see that. And yeah, maybe I'm willing to like sacrifice family for and like friendships and a lot of things for my TI or what I believe this is the right thing to do. So maybe that's where like my friends last manifests. When I was younger, I can definitely see it. I like was at school and someone talked to me and I thought they were like intellectually more like worse than me and I was like, don't talk to me. You're not worth my words. And I would like be that asshole. And I'm very ashamed of it. But yes, that's how I was. I was very cold as a kid and very like, oh, are you smart or are you not smart? And if you were not smart, you were not my friend. And also, I can see it when I moved from Spain to Germany. I kept no friendships, and I was like, oh, I don't care, and it was like totally fine for me. It was like normal. And then afterwards, like people asked me like, oh, do you still have friends in Spain and stuff? And I was like, no. And I said like, oh, and I saw like they looked like a little bit weird, and I was like, oh, okay, this is not normal. And I was like, oh. And then when I finished high school and everyone goes like different ways to like different universities and different paths in life, like I texted everyone like the message like I'm very bad at keeping long distance friendships, so don't take this personally, but we are not friends anymore. And I texted it everyone with like uh the thing where you like send it to multiple people and it's written above like send to multiple people, and so they don't take it personally, so they know that I've done this to a lot of people. And then I actually kept a lot of friendships. So
You kept a lot of
yeah.
friends. Did that? Hello?
Sorry.
You said you kept a lot of friendships when you send the mass text.
Yes, I sent them thinking like, oh, this is this stuff again where I like just lose uh interest for the people, but at the end I kept in touch with the people, with most of them, and are actually still very very good friends till this day.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's good to hear that you were able to stay in touch with your friends as a result of that mass text that you sent, even though it's kind of an odd way to send a text, but clearly it worked. So, don't I guess I guess just take it right as a victory.
Yeah, but this was all like a big development in myself. like I don't see it even as developing FE, or it didn't feel like, oh, FE, because FE, you think a lot of like it's very extroverted and stuff. It felt more like developing FI, things I felt and how I felt them, and things I really cared for emotionally. And that development led me also to like, I actually feel a lot for this person. And I also have like very negative feelings if I act this way and stuff. And I also, this led to like many developments, like finding like morality, finding what I want to do in life, finding and also like connection with people. Like since I was like 6, something like that, I had like a very dark perspective on love and what it means to be connected to a person, I guess. So that's how it felt, like sprouting feelings in myself and allowing them.
Oh, okay, that's really good, dude. You're not rejecting it, you're accepting it and then learning from it too. So then you can make a better decision on what truly brings you joy in life as opposed to just using TI, you know?
Yeah, yeah. As a kid, I was so stupid in some sense. I was like, oh, what is objective? What is reality? And emotions are not reality. They're like just weird chemicals in my monkey self that I did not respect. And then I saw like, oh, there's a lot of wisdom in the emotions, and like this machinery I wield as my body has been here and developed for like millions of years, and has some wisdom I cannot tap in just with the focus of my mind. Yes,
Yeah.
last finished.
Well, it makes sense, dude. Like, because ultimately you don't have complete access of yourself if you don't have access to all four of your cognitive functions, right? And four of your animals. So, to get the full development is to have all the access to all of it. I just want to touch onto something that you said earlier also. When you said that when you were younger, you don't want to be friends with people that you felt were stupid or inferior to you. Because I have a lot of friends that are number ones, and I do notice them having this kind of behavior. A lot of my number one friends though are EJs. I don't think I have any friends that are IPs number one, but I have a lot of friends that are EJs. So one of them is an ENTJ, and for him, he purposely only hangs out with people that are successful so that he can flex when he's in social situations and say, you know what, I have this friend who's very successful. I have another friend who's very successful because when you hang out with successful people, ultimately you also look good, right? You also increase your status. So that's one thing. And then my other friend who's an ESFJ number one, he does have friends also, but he only spends time with his friends like once every 2 years. So he purposely puts a distance between him and friendships because he feels like spending time with friends will cause him to fall behind and cause him to lose, not be successful because he sees friendship as a distraction from success. Although, if you compare him with me, my friends right now, he's actually one of the people in the bottom in terms of success because when you spend time with people, you can gather data with them, exchange information, exchange motivation, and ultimately collaboration gets you to the finish line faster because in my opinion, what made humanity survive for so long and become successful as a race entirely is not intelligence first, but actually cooperation first. I feel like humanity's cooperation first and then intelligence second. That's my perspective on things. But anyways, I want to bring
Mm.
it back to you and hear what your perspective is on this.
Yes, that's why I thought I was like a number 4, because I am a big Friends guy now. I evolved. I'm a Pokemon, and I like I have like different classifications on the level of friendship, and I base that kind of on how much I respect that other person. But I see myself as very friendly, having a lot of friends, and I would not sacrifice friends for success. For me, success in some senses also becoming like a person that helps my friends. And that's where I see like the number one push of like becoming better for my friends also. And in the past, like pushing people away because oh they're not smart and stuff. It's also because I was very scared of people, and I thought like, oh, if they're not smart, they will not understand me. They will be weird, and they will like attack me because I don't know. I feel fears, and therefore like I push them away. Like, oh, you're not smart. You're not gonna understand me. Bye bye. And I did it in a way that made me feel powerful, and that's why I made it like more mean, I guess. So I am like, oh yeah, I am in control. But that's why I say like am I like the typical number one? I don't know because I don't see myself doing that. I don't see myself isolating and going for the win just for the win. I don't have a lot of like this me first energy. I also see in number one. So um yeah.
I mean, it's good that you're having those perspectives about yourself and that you don't see yourself being that person anymore, that seeing the tribe will make you worse or seeing the tribe will be a threat in terms of them attacking you because they're not smart enough to understand you. So it's good that you, as you have said, evolve like a Pokemon. You're not like, the first level anymore, you're the second transformation now. Um, Although based on what you also said, based on the math that Dave and Shan have said also, uh, this is based on your perspective, it's not based on, the tribe perspective. So I'm pretty sure if I ask
Yes.
some of your friends what you really like, maybe they'll be like, oh, what? No, that's not how he is, So, um, so it's interesting to hear one perspective versus like the tribe's perspective, because like for you, you wouldn't know what the tribe's perspective is, as an INTP, right?
Yeah, that's funny because I asked my best friend like explain a little bit about like the social types, and he said, "Oh, you're number one." And I was like, "No, no, I'm a number four. What do you mean?" And then I asked another one, yeah, yeah, like, "Oh, I'm not very ambitious." I said like, "Oh, I'm not very ambitious." And my friend said like, "Oh, you're the most ambitious man I know." And I was like, "Oh." Now it makes sense when I got my type, like, oh, that's what they were saying. Oh, now I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't trust your own perspective when it comes to this situation. It's important to know that the tribe perspective because the tribe ultimately also knows you quite well because they've seen how you behave and they've seen your behavioral patterns. Especially if you have friends that are double deciders or EJs, they would be able to see that. So it's good that you ask your friends though. That's very powerful as an IP to get the tribe perspective.
Yeah, yeah. No, the tribe is good. I like the tribe. It was not always that way. I disrespected a lot the tribe and thought like, oh, everyone is stupid. But with life and all the problems I encountered, like I thought like I noticed that the tribe is actually pretty cool and they are way smarter than I thought, and that I'm kind of stupid. And it was kind of a humbling. And now I'm a friend of the tribe.
Well, everyone has different intelligences, right? So what you're smart at is going to be different from one of your friends who is smart at something else. So it's not going to be the same kind of intelligence. So I think there's no universal kind of like, oh, I'm smart at everything. I'm pretty sure there is like a freak person that's smart at like a lot of stuff, but no one's smart at everything, right? So
Yes.
you're gonna have a weakness somewhere. And then your friends essentially fill in the gaps where you have a weakness, right? And then together you're stronger than alone. So I actually want to bring up a point here also. The way I see friendships and connecting with a tribe, really, I see it in two different ways. So one, the tribe members will bring you up. They will foster growth in you. They might be harsh on you, but it's because they want to see you grow, right? So they might give you critical advice, or you might see it as judgment, but it's actually from a perspective of, hey, they want to see you grow, be a better person, be a better version of yourself. And when you're with that person, you're motivated to work harder, or they might provide you information to help you reach your goal faster. So that's kind of like one kind of friendship or relationship where it's beneficial in terms of personal or career or financial growth, right? Or vice versa, you also have a friend that doesn't bring any of that to the table, but just being with them brings you immense amount of joy and happiness. So this friend is fun, essentially, right? It's so fun. Like you're like, okay. So in my opinion, those are the two kinds of friends that you definitely want to keep around in your life.
Mm.
What's your thought on that? Like, those two different perspectives.
Well, I do the same. I have friends. They are fun friends, and then I have real friends. And for me to be a real friend, I need to know that I don't know, like I have to respect you and I have to see potential in you. And that's a little bit maybe like the number oneness. But then I also have a lot of friends that are like category fun. And I like them, I love them, but at the end I would be able to sacrifice them if needed.
That's so weird, man, because I have friends who are INTPs that are number fours that is willing to sacrifice friends that are perceived as dumb and like, doesn't bring any substance to the table other than fun. It's such a weird mindset in my opinion, because for me, it's like those people that bring fun, that's a lot of value. Okay. A lot of people are boring. The fact that this person is fun, that is like amazing. That means that person has a lot of charisma, because if you have no charisma, you can't be fun. Charisma is something that you cannot it's hard to cultivate. It's you either have it or you don't.
Yeah. But it is true that I've never encountered a person that's really fun that's also not very cool. So I guess like humor also goes hand in hand of being cool. So most of my very fun friends and friends I deeply enjoy being with and they're a lot of fun. They're also like great people. But I also have like friends I only have for the fun. Like there's no deeper connection or there's just an incompatibility to like form like a deeper bond besides like doing activities, having fun, laughing. And I would be able to like sacrifice them. So for example, if I would move to another city, I would not keep up contact with them or like something like that.
Ironically for me, I would sacrifice the other friends over the fun friends. I think the fun friends have more value from my perspective.
Well, I don't mean friends that are like a benefit to me or like are very cool or have like a lot of competence. It's about like the connection, I guess. And with who I like very like I bond to. And fun is not like it's very important. It's very high up there, but there are things higher than fun that I value in a person. So that's maybe a difference.
Oh, okay.
So you would like sacrifice someone you have like deeply bond, even though they're not like the most fun person
No, no, no. If
because they're not fun enough.
if you go with that perspective, then it's definitely bond first, okay? Because you can definitely bond with someone that's not fun, right? Because I have friends who are social type number one, play last, boring as fuck, but I still like having them around because we can still have like that intellectual conversation, right? Or a deeper conversation. But ultimately, though, if I look at my friends, I mean, I have friends who are smart and fun. So, like most people can be both, right? But I have friends who are just purely stupid, but they're really fun. So I like them too, right? So, yeah, but in terms of bond though, I don't need them to be smart to have a bond with them. I have friends that are not smart at all, but I have a bond with them, right? Because they have you know, like they've been my friends since I was young. So I guess it's loyalty, like they're like a loyal friend,
Yes.
which I do put a lot of value into, like having that loyal friend, right? You never ditch the friendship, you make sure the friendship stayed strong all this time, and yeah, that to me is valuable.
Yeah. For me, I really bond with people when we go like through some kind of accident or like some kind of like very hard tragedy, and then like we go through them together, and then he's a brother, he's a friend, he's family now. And yeah, they don't have to be smart or very competent. It's just, I don't know, let the bond, and if they can like understand me, I guess.
No, that makes perfect sense. Like when you survive like a challenge, a difficulty, you know? Um, yeah, I was thinking about it a few days ago because I was watching some shows on survival. Like there was a show called Naked and Afraid, and like two people have to be in like a new place and they have to survive, right? And then usually after they get out, they started out as strangers, now they're like really close friends because they had to like endure this horrible survival challenge, right? So I think I see your perspective when you say like, oh, when you survive something, that it's now you're like brothers for life, right? Or whatever, right? Or friends for life. Now, just for the sake of time, I do want to ask you the rest of the questions for your type. I want to go ask you next about your ST sleep, third animal. Okay. It's
Mhm.
your sleep and your inner identity is tied to competence. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. I want to be the most competent person in my surroundings, and I take great pride in my competence. And every time I can like bring my competence to shine and help people with it and be an example, I get very happy. And my sleep is also trying to save energy, I guess. That's, but I don't know. I think my sleep actually cost me a lot of energy because I'm always like have like all these processes of how to do things. I'm always like analyzing them, how to trim the fat of the process, what's really needed, what gives you like the biggest ROI, like even by with cooking and stuff. Like when I have like a recipe, like, oh, does this procedure like really pay off at the end result of the burger or something like that? And then I'm like trying different things until like I can like trim down and everything to the core of what really works. And my ST sleep, I also like it's like the thing like, oh, ST sleep people want to have like a body that works.
Yeah.
And I see that as true. I don't want like the most muscly body. I don't want to flex with my body. I want the body to like outcompete everyone and all possible um natural uh things. So it's very generalized. It's not very specialized. I want to be very good at running, very good at swimming, very good at climbing, very good looking. And yeah, I don't know. Is that even ST sleep?
It sounds like it's like a generalist approach, like a social
It's
type
a
too.
generalist approach.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, because
maybe.
you have that as a savior, right? You're like a savior too, right? So it sounds like the way you perceive your ST sleep is from a generalist perspective.
Yeah, yeah. I also do a lot of stretching and stuff. So it like I don't want to be mean, but what is the information you want from me, and then I will be better at delivering it.
Oh, there's no particular information that I'm looking for you. I'm just, conversing with you in terms of how you personally perceive something. So you've explained that pretty well, pretty clearly, actually. The fact that you brought up like, a body that works, for example, that shows like you've been watching my interviews for a long time because that's something I bring up all the time with the ST sleep, right? But I actually want to touch on the elephant in the room here. SF Blast Last, okay? Double feminine SF Blast Last. Can you share the struggles with it and how do you see yourself using it when it does come out?
When it does come up, I think my SF blast is like a little bit of like a mystery for me. When it does come up, um, was in the past it has been very explosive because it was like a lot of build up lastness, and then I exploded and I was like blasting full on. But I guess sometimes when I feel like like disrespected. Um, I want to it is very what disrespects me sometimes is not even it's like tiny actions, and then like I have to tell this person like, oh, this tiny action you do, like this signified this tells me like all these messages are included in this little thing. So stop doing that little thing. Stop. For example, I hate when people say thank you for listening to to them. You know, when people explain you something and then they thank you for listening. I don't like that. That's weird for me. Like I'm not doing you a favor, and it puts me in a weird position because it's not a favor. It pretends that I'm not interested in what you're telling me. Because if I would like not be interested, you would notice. And it is also it's also weird because like are you telling me something you know I'm not gonna like or something like that? And you're like thanking me. Like it's weird. I don't like that. Just tell me that you enjoyed the conversation or something like that. So that I think is SF plus. Or when I help people, when I give them like advice to like help them, it's always very sensory, step by step. I just share like a process. Like, oh, I got this process that works. Here you have it. And here's how you can implement it for you.
You know what, dude? My first thought for your first comment was it's just a saying. Who cares? Like, don't overthink it. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to TI everything, Like, it's just a saying, right? Like, thanks for listening to me. Who cares? It's just like a saying, right? Like, it's just like a default saying that humans say to each other. So I wouldn't overthink it. It's just like yeah, it's stupid, but because if you do dissect it, it's like, oh yeah, you're kind of lowering your status by saying thank you for listening to me, right? But like, but at the same time, it's just like a saying, right? And then the second thing about the SITI process that you were just kind of sharing with me, I actually think that's pretty good. Especially because I remember I had this person I was interviewing before, and she wanted me to clip like a tiny part of our interview because she didn't want to get in trouble at work. So I was like, oh, I don't know how to clip that, and she went and she was SITI also with the sleep, right? So she went and made a video on how to clip it, and then she showed it. She's like, okay, here's my process on how I did it. Here, enjoy. And I watch it, and I'm like, oh, this is actually really helpful because like it's almost like SITE, but it's really SITE because it's her process. But the fact that she recorded it and then she sent it to me, and it's like, oh, you turned an SITI to SITE. Now it's like powerful all of a sudden, because then the tribe can use it. They can see, oh, it's like, oh, I see what you did there. So it's almost like a cheating, almost like you can like what do you call it? Like actually, I like this little thing that we just touch on because now there's like a way to cheat, like use like a something that you don't have, but then give it to the tribe, right? Like for example, I have SIFI, so if I share to someone what SIFI is and I document and share it to you, that's like SIFE now, right?
Yeah. But like pure SIFE, I don't know, like it's also feminine. So like pure because that's kind of like a cheat, as you said. Like it's like kind of cheating SIT, right? But like pure SIFE, I don't know. It's feminine. Maybe like even changing like the environment or like taking care like some needs are met for people so the mood stays up or something like that. Maybe that's like more SIFE, pure blast. Like changing the sensory physically to uh, help the FE of the tribe.
I think because I have SI also, I can see how SIFE works. It feels unnatural for me to use it, but I can see how it works because basically what you're doing is you have a step-by-step system on how to correct the tribe's behavior, right? So a lot of teachers, for example, the ISFJs and ESFJs that has SIFE, they'll be like, "Hey, you, stop doing that, okay? It's making everyone feel bad or like you're being offensive, right? Like, stop that behavior." So it's like SIFE is very correcting behavior of the tribe, right? Like it's, for example, Jordan Peterson in his book 12 Rules for Life, he actually had like a whole chapter on SIFE, which I thought was brilliant. I was like, oh God, like Jordan Peterson doesn't know what this, uh, animals are, but he made a whole chapter about it. So clearly, like subconsciously, he knows he has this SIFE thing, and he has a third, right? Because he's sleep loss. So, and then he talks about like correcting behaviors of kids in that book, right? And that's what SIFE is, you know. And he actually had a step by step. Like step one, make the kid lie down in the bed. Step two, you know, push them down. You know, like he had like a step by step on how to like correct their behavior, which I thought was like amazing.
Yeah, I see myself doing a lot of this processes. Yeah, and then like sharing them. It's very step by step. I don't know if I get like in danger, like it's like a dangerous situation. Like my father, I think he's SEFIT something. I don't know what he is, but that's his functions. I don't know which other, if he's the cider, whatever. He has those functions, and whenever he like encounters like danger, like he sees like all the things for what they are, and like solves the problem, like goes there. And I'm like different. I need to like see it, and then I have like a step by step plan I put into action. So I'm bad at improvising if like things change, or if like even if it's like a very short time plan, like something unexpected shows up, like, oh, I need to stop and remake the plan. So yeah, but then I always have a plan, like a step by step way to like try things, and then I can adjust the plan. If I see something doesn't work, I correct it, and then like in the long term, I see myself like winning that way.
Yeah, no, it makes sense because you have NE, right? So people with NI, it's harder for them to adjust the plan because they only see one future possibility. But when you have NE, there's multiple future possibility, so the plan is easier to change. So Uriel, I have one last thing to address with you before we wrap up this interview. So basically, this is your platform right now to make sure that you are seen by people the way you want to be seen, right? Or be understood the way you want to be understood. So, what haven't we discussed during this interview about you and your type that you want people to learn more about you so that you know you feel understood and you feel like people people know you. So, what do you want people to know that you haven't discussed yet?
Oof, that's that's a bomb question for a last IP. Um, what do I want to blast to the world? Um, yeah, I don't. I actually don't know.
All right. You know what, dude? That's no problem because usually with the people I interview, I do follow up with them like a year or two later. So right now you don't know, but maybe later you will know because now you're gonna start thinking about it, right?
Right.
All right, Oriel, we'll wrap up the interview here. So thanks, dude, for coming out and sharing more about yourself and being very honest about your experience, you know, dealing with the tribe specifically. You know, that was a really honest take on like how you were thinking with your TI on about the tribe.
Hell yeah.
All right, take care.
Bye bye.